सदाशिव समारंभां शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां तपोभिः क्षीणपापानां शान्तानां वीतरागिणां मुमुक्षूणामपेक्ष्योऽयम् आत्मबोधो विधीयते. So we finished with the 48th shloka. आत्मैवेदं जगत्सर्वम् आत्मनो अन्यत् न किञ्चन मृदः यद्वत् घटादीनि स्वात्मानं सर्वम् ईक्षते. So Atmaiva idam sarvam jagat. We are in the process of understanding what is the if Atma and Jagat are Chit and Jada. If there is so much of difference between a sentient and an insentient being, how is it that we are able to see the entire Jagat as Atma? So the understanding is that the Jagat is just a superimposition upon the Atma and it is an illusory appearance. That's what it is. Here he says, Atmaiva idam paridrishyamanam sarvam Jagat. Atmaiva. This entire Jagat, this world is Atma itself, in the sense that the true essence of this world is Atma and everything else is only an appearance. Like Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari. Like the entire world is like a mirage that you see. Anyant na kinchana, there is nothing else. Just as how when you have different vessels made of clay, the source is just the clay. In the same way, you look at Atma also in the same manner in this Jagat. Ukta Lakshana Anusandhanena. Now it is Jivan Mukti Lakshana. So the last sections, I think he starts off with Jivan Mukti Lakshanam here. Ukta Lakshana Anusandhanena Purva Upadhi Guna Muktireva Jivan Muktihi iti Pratipadayati. So what is the state of a Jivan Mukti? Who is a Jivan Mukta? What is the state of Jivan Mukti? Jivan Mukti is self-realization or realization as you are in the body. So Jivan Muktistu tad vidwan purva upadhi gunans tyajet saha satchit adi dharmatvat bheje bhramara kitavat. Vidwan brahmavit yatihi. Vidwan purva upadhi gunan tyajet. He should completely let go of all the gunas that are the qualities that are associated with the different limiting adjuncts. So the limiting adjuncts here are Sthula, Sukshma and Karana Shariram. And the gunas associated with the Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira and Karana Sharira. So he has to first let go of all of these things. So Purva Upadhi Gunana, Purva Upadhinam, the Upadhi here is Sthula, Sukshma and Karanatmakanam, Shariranam or Upadhinam. The Upadhi which is of the form of Atmaka, which is of the form of Sthula, subtle, gross, subtle and causal. Tad Gunan, all the qualities that are associated with this body, which is of these three Sharira. What are those qualities? Shadbhava, Shadkosha, Shadurmyadi Rupana. Shadbhava is Asti Jayate Vardhate Viparinamate Apakshiyate Nasyati. These are the Shadbhavas. Shadkosha, I know there are only 5 koshas. Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. Right? And then maybe Mayamayam, I'm not sure. What is the 6th kosha that he is talking about? Let me check if there is any reference here. No. 6 sheaths or 6 urmis. Urmi are the urmi is actually waves. So the waves, Ajnanam, let's say, is the source, like an ocean. Then the Urmi is the transformation of that Ajnanam. So anything that is made from the Ajnanam has 6 kinds of transformations that go on. That is what he calls as Shadurmi. So here Shatkosha also I think is Shadbhava. The 6, maybe Shaishava, Kaumara, Yavvanam, vardhakyam, that kind of a transformation that a body goes through because it is sheathed in different kinds of existence that way, right? Along with the sthula, sukshma and karanam. So maybe sthula, sukshma, karanam could have 3 more into 2 probably is what I'm thinking. Could be Shatkosha. Or it is Shadbhava is the same as Shatkosha, which is the same as Shadurmi. Ityadi Rupana Upadhin Gunan Yadva Purva Upadhina Stuladina Tat Karana Satvadi Gunanscha Tyajet. So either you can take it as Sthula Sukshma Karana Shariram. These the qualities that are associated with these 3 are Asti, Jayate, Vardhate, etc. So those qualities which are associated with the body, or you can take it as the same Sthula Sukshma Karana Shariram which has come from its gunas, which are the Maya gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So Tadguna. That makes more sense here. He has to let go of Maya and its Karyam. So Purva Upadhi Gunan Tyajet Vidwan Purvopadi Gunans Tyajet. Okay, he gives many different understandings of this Purva Upadhi. He says Annamayadina Tadgunana Cha Kramena Janmadi Ashanayadi Kamakrodhadi Kartrika Kartritvadi Priyamodadi Rupana Tyajet. Or you can have it as Janma, Kartritvam, Bhoktritvam, Pramatritvam. These are the qualities that you let go. What are the gunas and what are the upadhi? Those, it can vary according to our understanding. So since this is just a short format, you can bring in the entire Advaita Vedanta concepts here to understand what is a limiting agent and what are the qualities associated with those limiting agents, upadhis. Okay. So Asheshena Parityagena, when you let go of all of these things, including the vasana, Sayeva, that alone is called Jivan Mukti. That is the state of Jivan Mukti. Saha Satchidadi Dharmatvat Brahmarakitavat Bheje. Now he Saha Jivan Muktaha. Now this Jivan Mukta who has attained Jivan Mukti in this format after letting go of all of the upadhis and the qualities associated with the upadhis. Now what happens? This Jivan Mukta Brahmavit Yatihi Satchidadi Dharmatvat, because he has Satchit Anandadi qualities, he is like a worm which becomes a bee. Bhramara bhutaha kitaha. Anything starts off like a larvae. Here you take kita as a larva, which then transforms into a bee. Bhramara kitavat. A jiva is like a krimi vishesha, that just as how a jiva attains the state of Brahman. In the same way, or in a similar manner to which a small larva also lets go of its, like a butterfly, let's say, a butterfly stops becoming a caterpillar one day and then it attains a beautiful state of a butterfly. So we are all like the caterpillar which has this cocoon around it. I think that is what he means here. So Brahmara is a bee, but think of it in this manner. So it's like a jiva who has come into this janma. He slowly he experiences everything and then he forms a cocoon around him. Like how a caterpillar before transformation, and it does a dhyanam within that kosha. It realizes that it has to stay inside and then it keeps on meditating upon everything, and then when the Jivan Mukta state comes, it has to let go of that kosha in the form of that cocoon. So it breaks open out of that and becomes a beautiful butterfly. So in the same way, the jiva also breaks open out of his upadhis and attains that Brahma Bhava. So Saha Jivan Muktaha Satchidadi Dharmatvat Satyajnana Anandadi Lakshanatvat, because he has these qualities, Brahmara Kitavat. Brahmara Bhutaha Kitaha. Krimi Visheshaha Iva. Like a krimi, like a worm or a larva which becomes a Brahmara, which becomes a bee. In the same manner, Brahmatvam eva bheje. The Jivan Mukta attains Brahmatvam. So what's there in the shloka here? Saha Satchidananda Dharmatvat Brahmara Kitavat bheje. What does he attain? Bheje ityukte, he attains. What does he attain? We understand Brahmatvam from this because he has mentioned Mukti and Satchidananda Dharma. Okay? So, Brahmara Dhyanena Tyakta Purvarupaha Kitaha Yatha Brahmaratam Eva Praptaha. Just as how a worm which keeps on thinking about becoming a wasp or becoming a bee, and then slowly it transforms into a bee at some point, in the same way, Brahmadhyanena, by meditating upon the Brahman, supreme entity, Tyakta Purva Upadhigunaha Saha, he lets go of all of his upadhis of Stula, Sukshma and Karana Shariram, or Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, etc. And then Brahmatam eva praptavan. He attains the state of Brahman. Na anyat deshantaram lokantaram yaha yo anyat anyantaram yogyantaram. No, what is that? I don't know. Yogantaram prayaha. Yonyantaram, sorry. Another birth. So he doesn't go into another desha. He doesn't go travel across to foreign countries, nor does he go to another lokam like Swarga, Bhurbhuva Swaha Maha Janaha Tapaha. He doesn't go into other lokas. Yonyantaram va na gacchati. Na is here. Okay. He does not take up another birth. He does not enter into the garbha of another one more time. So, Nasapunar avartate, he does not come back from the state where he is. So Brahmavit apnoti param amritaha samabhavat. So Brahmavit, one who knows Brahman, apnoti param, he attains the supreme. Amritaha samabhavat, he becomes amrita, immortal. Ityadi shrutehe yanti Madhyajinaha api mam ityadi Bhagavad Vachanat. Madhyajinaha api mam eva yanti iti Bhagavan Gitayam Bhakti. So in Gita he says anybody who, even Karmakanda, those people who Ishwararpana Buddhya, those who do it with the attitude that all of this goes to Ishvara, when they do the yagam, they attain me, is what Bhagavan says, which means they attain the supreme. So, Jivan Muktistu tat vidvan purvopadhi gunans tyajet. So, tadeva Jivan Muktihi. Vidvan purvopadhi gunan tyajet. Tat eva, tat tu Jivan Muktihi. So, the Anvaya comes in that format. So, tat tu Jivan Muktihi. This state is called Jivan Mukti. Jivanneva Muktihi, Jivan Muktihi. Saha, now what happens to the Jiva, who is a Jivan Mukta right now? So, Saha Jivan Muktaha, Satchidadi Dharmatvat, because he has the qualities of existence, consciousness and bliss, etc. He attains what? That what is not given in the shloka. So, we take it as Brahmara Kitavat, just as how a worm becomes a wasp or a bee. In the same way, the Jivan Mukta also, because he has the qualities of Sati, Chit, Ananda, etc., he attains Brahmatvam. Okay? So that Brahmata is absent in the shloka. We understand it from the context. So, Jivan Muktistu tadvidvan purvopadhi gunans tyajet sasachidadi dharmatvat bheje Brahmara Kitavat. Next one. So there is a Brahmara Kita Nyayam. There are two shlokas in Bhagavatam also. Let me share that one. This is in the 7th Kanda. 7th skanda, first chapter. Keetaf peshaskrita ruddhaha kudyayam tam anusmaran samrambha bhaya yogena vindate tat swarupatam. Keetaha, any worm, peshaskrita ruddhaha. So peshaskrita is, peshaha is a bee, so, or a wasp. Okay, so when it is ruddhaha in a kudyam is actually a wall, but here he says it's a hole in the wall. Let's say that is where the wasp is trying to build its nest, and if a worm, the wasp brings a worm, or if some worm gets trapped into that hole within the wall, tam anusmarana, it keeps thinking about the wasp itself, because it gets trapped into it, and it probably fears, as Swami Shivananda says, it probably fears the wasp coming and stinging it, and so it keeps on thinking about the wasp. So samrambha bhaya yogena, because of samrambha, agitation, and bhaya, fear, because of these two, tat swarupatam vindate, it automatically turns into a wasp. Evam Krishne Bhagavati Mayam Anuja Ishware Vairena Puta Papmanaha Tam Apura Tam Apuhu Anuchintaya. See, this is an example of Virodha Bhakti. Bhakti can be of many types. Narada Bhakti Sutra says that you can have Sneha Bhakti, you can even have Vairi Bhakti. So when you have a Virodha Bhava, like Kamsa or Hiranyakashipu, they kept on thinking about Bhagavan, and when he would come and attack. So Bhagavan has actually entered into their mind, and Evam Krishne Bhagavati Ishware Vairena Puta Papmanaha Mayam Apuhu Anuchintaya. Bhagavati Anuchintaya, because of that Vairena Anuchintaya, they have this Virodha Bhava, and because of that Virodha Bhava, they keep on thinking about Bhagavan, and they are filled with his Maya in their mind, even though they are Papma, they are sinners, still they have been Putam, they have been rendered sacred or Pavitram, their sins have been washed away, because they have been thinking about Bhagavan constantly. So even the Virodhi Bhava can bring about a Jivan Mukta state for these people, moksham for these people, right? So for that he takes the example of a Kita Bhramara Nyayam. So even in science, apparently the wasps are parasitic. So when they bring a worm or a caterpillar in, they will transform that, they will not let the caterpillar become a butterfly, but it will constantly transform it into its own swarupa. That is, the caterpillar or any worm, any insect becomes the wasp because it preys on it as a parasite. So I think that is what he means. We have to take only the thing that by forcing ourselves to think about the Brahman, the Supreme Brahman, in whatever manner, in however manner, in every walk of our life, every thought of our life, then we will automatically, from inside out, we will be transformed. Right? I think that is the basis for the Kita Bhramara Nyayam. It's a very different way of approach in Bhagavatam. Right? Okay.